And once again, you can't hear me. I'm so sorry. I really have to get better at remembering to unmute my mic. So, hello, everyone. I'm glad you're here. And if you can't read lips, let me go over what I just said to everybody. And that is that I'm glad it's Monday. It's my favorite day of the week because I get to craft with all of you. And I'm extra excited today because I have new products to play with. Tomorrow begins a new product release. It's an exclusive bundle that's only available from March 2nd until May the 1st, I believe it is. It might be May the 3rd. So you can only get it for a limited time. And I haven't had much opportunity to play with the bundle yet. I used it once, and that was to create a card last night for my team meeting. But beyond that, I haven't had an opportunity. So we're going to play with it together tonight. So if you look on your screen, nope, that way, you'll see the little butterflies fluttering. That kind of gives you a sneak peek of what's to come. So I'm going to flip the camera. We're going to go over to the creative station and we are going to create together. All right. Hopefully the sound is working tonight. Last week I was having issues with my phone mic, so if you can hear me still, please let me know. And we will start crafting together. It looks like my levels are okay. I just double check that you guys can hear me all right. All right, so this is the products in the Butterfly Brilliance suite. Lisa can hear me. Okay, great. It is 4 items that are available to purchase starting tomorrow. So there's a stamp set, coordinating dies, and then there's 2 packs of beautiful patterned paper. So the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set, you can see that it's butterflies. It stands to its name, but it is one large image. How fantastic is that? But what's better are the dies. So these lovely dies have 2 sheets. So you can see this nice one here. It's one piece that coordinates perfectly with the stamped images. So you can stamp once and then cut them all out. How fantastic is that? So smart. And then you'll also see that there's some other accents. So we've got some detailed, we've got some itty bitty butterflies, we've got some brick walls and some, looks like basket weave and some splotches. So lots of details in these dies. Absolutely fantastic. And then we have even more detail. So all the butterfly images that you would cut out solid image, you now can add the detail and create those layers, making them super dramatic. So I want to play with those tonight because, like I said, I haven't had the opportunity to play with them yet, nor have I used my stamp. The other part of this product bundle is this beautiful paper. It is fantastic. So look at these papers. You can see the couple of scraps there. So we have these lovely big butterflies, and the back side is this beautiful rainbow color. We have this lovely bluey green, almost like camouflage, and then the reverse side of that are blues and purple butterflies. We've got these rainbow butterflies, and on the back of that, oranges and yellows. Some fun monarchs flying in the sky, and on the back of that, we've got some coral white dots. We've got these small itty bitty butterflies with like the pink and orange camos. I'm partial to this one just because it is the colors of my logo, the oranges and pinks. Love it. And then the one that I love the most is probably this one here. This is a combination of Pool Party and Magenta Madness, and I didn't realize how much I loved this color combo until I started playing with it. It's just so pretty. And then the back side of that is this lovely, they kind of look like compass wheels or ship's wheels, but it's just a design element that you can use. So those are the papers in the bundle. And then you have this lovely wood grain that's also available. So pretty. And as I mentioned at the start, I've only had the opportunity to play with it a little bit. And that was to create a card last night. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention about this DSP. So this piece here with these lovely big bold butterflies, remember that die that I showed you? Guess what? It cuts out those butterflies. Look at that. How amazing is that? So awesome. So we're gonna play tonight. So let me show you the card I did last night for my team meeting. So this is the card we made, and it is a pool party base, 8.5 by 5.5 folded in half. A strip of DSP measuring 5.5 by 2 inches. Our basic white mat is 4 by 3, and then our DSP in the center is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. The sentiment is from the Pretty Perennials stamp set, and I've stamped it in Pool Party and Magenta Madness to coordinate. And then when we open it up, oops, we have this little pop out with all these little butterflies, which I cut from a sheet of the Designer Series paper. So that's from, now I have to find the paper. It's this one. Nope. I'll find it from that paper. So this is the paper that I used, and I cut out all those little butterflies to use on the inside of the card. So this is all I've done with this suite of products. I haven't done anything else yet. And as I said, I don't have anything pre-planned. I have some ideas floating around in my head. So I thought we could try and bring them to life live and on camera. You get to see the chaos that is creating and coming up with the project. So I want to start with a Pool Party base once again, because I've decided I like the Pool Party base with the Magenta Madness. So I'm going to pull in some Magenta Madness as well. And these are how I store all my little pieces. If you can see in the side view camera, I've got my storage behind me and they're all sorted by color. But I find the little bits, I don't like to throw anything out. So I use our 6x8 cello bags to store all my little bits in, and then they just fit in the shelf with the rest of my papers. I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer. And because I know my card is going to be 5.5 by 4 1/4 once it's folded, I'm going to cut this mat to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Yes, and then I'm going to pull in this piece of DSP. I love this rainbow cloud kind of look. And I'm going to cut that 1/4 inch smaller all the way around. So we're going to go 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm really liking that so far. What do you think? And so let's go ahead and fold our base here. And I like to have that nice crisp fold, so I'm going to use my bone folder. All right, so there are our layers to start. And now what I want to do is I actually want to cut out some of those butterflies. So let's pull in the Big Boss. I'd like to use my new mini, which I received on Friday, of course, but that die is not going to fit in the mini. So we're going to pull in the big one. And my plates here. And so what my idea is, so I'm going to use this piece of the DSP. So this is this piece here. And I only want to cut out one butterfly. So I want to cut out this guy up here on the die. So rather than use a whole sheet of DSP and waste it, I am going to, I'm actually going to tear these edges off. I'm going to cut just a strip so then I can use that to not waste any of the DSP. I'm going to end up with some wasted space here, but I'm okay with that. So then I'll put my cutting plate back on, and we're going to run that through. And I don't want to cut all my plates without paper in there, so I'm just going to run it back the other way. So there we have our lovely tie-dye butterfly. And I want to repeat the process with some of the other colors. So I'm going to pull in the pinky orange camouflage. And I'm just going to cut myself a 2-inch strip. And for this one, I actually want this butterfly here at the bottom. So we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use the other butterfly here. And just make sure he fits on there. I can almost get this other one on there. So I can get him on there as well. So I'm going to do that just so I don't waste space, but I'm going to pull everything over so it fits on the plate. Nope. Sorry, you can hear my dogs barking. Somebody just came to the door upstairs. I'm in the basement, but they have really big barks and you can often hear them through the floors. Alright. Had I been smart, I would have turned the die around to go through the machine without all the others, but that's okay. There we have our butterflies. So there's our lovely pink and orange camo. And then I have this other little guy that I can save for later. And last but not least, I want to use the biggest butterfly on the die. So that's this guy here. And I want to use this fun bluey green camo. And so I'm going to cut, this is a 3-inch strip that I've cut this time. I had a couple pre-cut because I had this design in my head. I just hadn't had a chance to actually bring it to fruition. So that's why they're already cut. So run that through. Beautiful. So I've ended up with an extra butterfly, but there's our nice big guy. I'm not done die cutting. So my thought was I have these beautiful bold papers that I want to showcase, but I want to add those details to the butterfly and I don't want to hide them. So I'm going to try using vellum with the details to see how this works. So I have a sheet of vellum. This is 8.5 by 11. I'm going to cut it in half so it fits through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, or the SCEM. I've heard it referred to lately. I'm going to put that on there. And then I can cut all 3 of my butterflies at the same time. So these are the detailed ones. So we have this guy here. Put him on there. And then I have this one. And let's find the right one. That one? Yeah. So this one here. That's the other one we're using. Put all those on my vellum. I'm going to put my plate on top. And we're going to cut. And with vellum, I like to go over it a couple of times, especially with the detailed dies, because it doesn't always cut all the way through and then you end up trying to punch them out or cut them, and I don't want to have to fiddle with it too badly. take those dies off of there. Let's see how we did. So there we go. So I'm gonna have to punch some of those details out. This one's actually not so bad. And then our large one, loving that. So I'm just gonna move the machine out of the way. All right, let's pull all this stuff back in. So our 3 butterflies. Excellent, excellent. I'm liking this so far. I'm gonna grab my Take Your Pick tool, which I had out earlier and it has gone missing. There it is. I'm gonna switch out my end here. And again, one of those things that seems to have walked away on me. There it is. So I'm gonna replace that and use the pokey tool part. Highly technical term, pokey tool. We're just gonna poke out those centers that didn't come out when I lifted it off the die cutting plate. And you can see that they're just literally popping right out, and that's because I went over it a couple of times. Had I only gone over it the once, I think I would be far more frustrated. Now there is an attachment to the Take Your Pick tool. So just like I switched out that end, you can actually put one of our detailed brushes in there and run it over your dies, and it will do the same thing a lot quicker than poking them out individually. So now if we put those detailed dies right on top, look at that. So pretty. And then just make sure all of these came out. Awesome. Well, the other great thing about this set is it makes me think of spring. The temperatures dropped today. We'd had a couple of really nice days on the weekend, warmer temperatures, above 0. The sun was out, and today it's been kind of gray and cloudy. The sun peeked through a few times, but the temperatures have really dropped again. And so these beautiful bright colors and the butterflies make me think spring is right around the corner, and I can't wait. All right. So there we have our details. I'm really liking that. Now the thing with vellum is it will show your adhesive. So the adhesive sheets would have been a good idea here had I been thinking about it ahead of time, but I wasn't. So what I'm gonna do is use our Tombow, which I have to grab. So this is our multi-purpose glue. And I'm just gonna put a line down the center of the body here, a very light line. You don't need a lot. And we're gonna attach that to the DSP. Give it a rub. And then we get that wing curl happening. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. So you can see the vellum curls a little bit at the wingtips. It just gives an extra level of dimension. We're gonna do the same thing with our other 2 butterflies. Just gonna push that down. There we go. And then our little itty bitty guy here. We'll do the same thing. And that may not actually be the die for this guy. That's okay, we're gonna go with it. I think it might be one of the ones on the other card, but we're gonna work with it because it still works. So there's our 3rd one. Sticking to my fingers. All right, so let's try assembling as I'm falling off my chair here. So I'm going to attach my memento, sorry, not my memento, my magenta to my pool party using my seal. And that should leave a nice 1/8 of an inch border because we cut it a 1/4 inch smaller. And then I'm going to put my DSP directly on top of the magenta. Like so. Cora says she loves how it looks. So pretty. I have to agree, Cora. I'm liking how this is coming together. And then I want to layer our butterflies onto the base here. And just play with the placement so you get how you're happiest. Oh, I think I like that. Yes, I'm liking that. All right, so we're going to use some dimensionals to stick these to the base. And I just realized I was a little bit off camera, so I apologize. So I'm going to use dimensionals on here. All right, so there's the first one on there. And let's put you there. And last but not least, our little guy. I think I'm going to change his placement to come over here. Like that. We've got our nice little curls. But I think we need a sentiment on there, so I didn't plan for that. I didn't have a stamp set out, so I think I just might use something from Itty Bitty Greetings. This is actually from the annual catalog, and it is a great all occasions card. Let's see. Let's go with Fabulous at Any Age. And they're all falling out at me. And this is not one of our cling stamps, so with the old clear stamps, I didn't mount them to the stickers because I found they didn't actually stick to my blocks. I don't like the look of that. I think the contrast is too harsh. Let's try all right, let's try it. Let's see if I like it. Pull in. I'm going to stamp in magenta, I think. So there we have our greeting. And I've just used a scrap and my edge is all wonky, but that's okay because I'm going to do one of those banner flag edges. So I'm just going to trim it. And then cheat and do my flag. Oop. Paper falling everywhere. And I think that can work. So let's use dimensionals with that. Perfect. Loving it. And then, you know me, you gotta have bling. So I've got my rhinestones, and we're gonna add just a couple sprinklings of bling on there. Oops. And one more for good measure. There we go. So there's the first card. What do you think? I like how that one came together. So pretty. Oh my gosh. I'm really loving it. Like, you have no idea. You know how you envision something and it's even better when it actually comes to fruition and you put it down on paper, and yeah. That's where I'm at right now. All right, so let's put these dies back on their card so I don't lose them. I'm gonna get all these itty bitty bits of vellum out of the way, and then we're gonna play again. All right. Dimensional backs are sticking to me. Okay. Now for this one, I really didn't even have a design in mind. So let's do this. Let's play with the stamp. And I'm going to pull in, I'm going to use my Stamparatus for this just because the stamp is so large that I want to be able to get a good impression with it. I have to find it. There it is. So the other thing I will note is you can see that there's all these little negative spaces. I kept the rubber from that. Another demonstrator, Kylie Bertucci, she actually showed how she created animal print backgrounds with those little bits. So I kept them so I can try it myself. My daughter loves giraffes, and I thought, giraffe spots. I can make something with that. All right. So if you don't have a Stamparatus in your life, this might be a game changer for you. Just make sure my paper is centered. So this is a positioning tool. It is awesome. It has these super strong magnets that are going to hold your paper down. And when I say super strong, I mean it. They actually, if they stick together like mine did, they will break because they're strong hold, but they're extremely fragile. But they do the job. They're awesome. So they just hold your paper in place so it's not sliding all over when you're stamping. And you want to make sure that they're not in the way. Perfect. All right. So let's stamp this in Memento. What I love about the big images is you can ink it upside down and see where you've got that good coverage. But with the Stamparatus, if you don't get a good first impression, you can go over it and it's not going to matter because it's going to be lined up perfectly every time. So because of the size of the stamp, I'm just rubbing to make sure I get that good impression. And actually, I'm really quite happy with that. Some of these filled in spaces I think could be darker, so I'm just going to go over it again. We're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to ink it up. And then we're going to go over it. Hi, Francis. There we go. So nice and dark. I'm really liking that. So if I slide my magnets off and just pull out my image, Stamparatus away. Now we have some fun. We can color these with blends or watercolor pencils. You could cut them out as is, whatever works for you. I think I'm going to pull out my watercolor pencils. I don't use those nearly enough. And I am going to pull out Pumpkin Pie, and we're going to color this beautiful big monarch. No, maybe we're not. Let me see if I can find my pencil sharpener. I have a feeling one of my children have walked away with my pencil sharpener. Yes, I dare say they have. So no, we're not going to use Pumpkin Pie. We're going to go rogue, and we're going to use Pacific Point. Make a beautiful blue butterfly. So with these watercolor pencils, you can push harder in the areas where you think there's shading, and then lighter as you go into the lighter contrast areas. Just color that in. And actually, we're going to mix these colors. So I'm going to use Pacific Point and Bermuda Bay. We're going to get that lovely two-tone happening. Nice big butterfly images. I love how they come together. Body. So what I love about the watercolor pencils is you can use them by themselves, just like pencil crayons, or you can watercolor with them. And there's a couple of ways to watercolor. So you can wet your cardstock first, although I find it makes a bit of a mess when you're using the pencil crayons. Or you can go over it with your water painter after. Or you can use a blending pen. Let me show you. So here's a water painter and a blender pen. Hi Sonia, thanks for sharing. All right, so if I use a blender pen, this is a glycerin based pen. It's great for using as a marker. You can pick up your ink pad and then color with it, but you can also use it to blend out your colors with the watercolor pencils. And I don't know how well the camera is going to pick this up, but it just softens those lines so they're not quite so harsh. I'm going to do one side with the blender pen, and then I'll do the other side with the aqua painter, and you can see the difference. We'll just do the body here. So there is the side with the blender pen, and you can see the difference. So you can see my pencil strokes here that on the side I haven't done anything with, and then this is the side that I've just gone over it with the blender pen. It just softens the lines. They're not quite so harsh, and I can't tell if you can see that, so hopefully you can see that. So now let me do the other side with the water painter. You don't need a lot of water when you're using the water painters. A little goes a long way. So there's the side with the water painter versus the blender pen. There's not much difference in terms of the finished result. They both soften those lines. If you don't have time to let the aqua painter dry, then the blender pen is a good alternative to that. So there's a nice big beautiful butterfly. Let's pull in the dies again. So again, we're going to use the big one here. And I'm not going to color all the butterflies, just in the name of time. So machine. I swear I need a bigger workspace sometimes. All right. So we've got our layer here. And cutting plate. This is what happens. I start moving things around and then I lose the pieces I need. There it is right in front of me. Blind for looking. Does anybody else have that problem? Put things down and then you can't find them because you've piled things on top of them? Or is that just me? All right. So look at that. One die, multiple butterflies. So fantastic. Ooh, and I have an idea coming to me. Ooh. I love when that happens. Okay, so I'm going to put the stuff to the side. I'm going to use a white base on this one. And I think I'm going to do a black matte. Black matte? Yes, let's go black matte. And then I'm going to cut a... Yes. My brain is working. It really is. It's creativity at its finest. So this is going to be 4 by 5 1/4, because my card is a standard 8.5 by 5 1/2, which is going to end up being 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And so this one, what did I say? Yes, 3 3/4 by 5. Inspiration has hit. All right, so I'm going to fold my base in half. Give it a good crease. And then I am going to mount my basic white to my basic black, giving me that nice border. Oops, I don't think I wanted to stick my watercolor pencil to my Stampin' seal. It's been one of those days. All right. There we go. And okay. So now I'm going to place these butterflies randomly on the base. Aha. Great success. I'm liking that, I'm liking that. And then I think we're going to pop this guy off here somewhere. Maybe I won't use all of them. Oh, the thoughts keep coming. What are you all thinking? Are you loving the stamp set so far? Oh. Rotating. Aha. I think I like it. What do you think? Nice pop of color with the blues. Oh yes, I like it. All right, dimensionals, where did I put you? If I were dimensionals, where would I be? They're right in front of my face. Is anybody else this much of a spaz when they're creating? Oh look, I haven't even attached anything, and here I am trying to use dimensionals on it. Let's stick this down. So we're going to put that on the base. We're going to put our butterfly in the bottom here. It does have so much potential, Cora. It's so fantastic. And you can really never have enough butterflies. Thanks, Lisa. Ooh, I can't wait to see what you come up with. Yee. All right. Loving. And this one. So fun. Oh, I'm loving it. Okay, so now we need some sort of greeting on there. What should we use? This is the problem when you have so many stamp sets. Trying to decide which one to use. Ooh. So I just grabbed Lovely You because there's some great sayings in here. You're My Person totally stands out to me right now. So we're going to use that. And you can see I haven't used that one yet. So this is a great refresher on how to assemble your cling stamps. So when you pop it out of your rubber, you want to peel off the back of your stamp. And that just exposes the foam. It's not sticky. And then what you want to do is find the coordinating label, which in this case is this one here. And I'm just going to peel off the back. I'm leaving the label attached to the sheet. Got no nail there, so let's try this hand. There we go. And what I like to do is leave it on the sheet and then line up the stamp with the outline. So using that natural edge from the label, stick your stamp to it, and then you can peel the label off, and it's 9 times out of 10 it's perfectly centered and ready to go. Now let's find a block. And do I want Pacific Point or do I want black? Decisions. One way to find out. So this is a good reason to hang on to your scraps. So I'm going to stamp it in Pacific Point. It's nice, but I'm not sure. So then I'm going to clean off my stamp. Let's try Memento. Yeah, I think I like the black better. What do you guys think? Thumbs up for the black. Or do you think the Pacific? Yeah, I'm partial to the black myself. I like the idea of coordinating the Pacific point with the colored butterfly, but I think the memento makes the biggest impact here. So, and I should have done this before I attached everything to the base. But this is what happens when you're creating on the fly. I'm gonna stamp it right on there and hope for the best. Haha! I love it. You know what's gonna make it even better? Wink of Stella. You guys, I love my Wink of Stella. And I think this one's almost empty, which makes me sad. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It just adds shimmer. It's kind of like an aqua painter. You just paint on your glitter. It's way less messy than our old glitter. Do you guys remember that? Where you'd dab on your glue and then sprinkle on loose glitter on top. So much mess. This doesn't get everywhere. You don't have to burn down your house to get rid of the glitter. My husband thanks me for making the switch to Wink of Stella, let me tell you. There's nothing worse than finding glitter stuck to the dog's nose. There we go. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. So pretty. You guys, I am loving it. Ooh, but now I need bling. Where did I put my bling? Seriously, I wish you guys could see my desk right now. I think I've shown you what my crafter math looks like after a previous live, and it's even worse today. So much worse. Bling. Oh yes, must have the blingy bling. Ow. Don't stab yourself though, because that really hurts. Cora, glitter never goes away. It really doesn't. There's a craft meme out there that says, what's the best way to get rid of glitter? And it's burn down your house. And it's true. It's never ending. I'm a Girl Guide leader, and we decided to use glitter one night at our meeting for a craft. And when we turned our backs, the girls decided to have a glitter fight. And let me tell you, trying to clean up the glitter from the church to something that was even remotely acceptable was a nightmare. I think we were there for 2 hours past our meeting time just trying to clean it all up. So yeah, glitter is the bane of my existence, but Wink of Stella makes it all better. I'm actually really happy with how that turned out. So here are tonight's 2 cards using the new Butterfly Brilliance stamp set and coordinating Brilliant Wings dies, which are available starting tomorrow. So I'm going to come and turn my camera back around. Oh, and you didn't hear any of that. Oh my gosh, you guys. I am a nutcase tonight, like seriously. So you didn't hear any of that. So let's start again. Oh, man. Yeah. I've lost my head. I don't even know anymore. Like, this is me. I like to have fun, and I'm a bit of a spaz sometimes, and that's okay. My office is a mess. My husband's probably looking at it going, what the heck happened? But that's just how I craft. Anyways, as I was saying, thank you so much for joining. If you're still here, no sound and all, I appreciate you watching. The Butterfly Brilliant stamp set and Brilliant Wings dies are available tomorrow, as well as the beautiful Butterfly Bijou DSP and the Natural Touch specialty paper, which I didn't use tonight, but it is also available tomorrow. And the stamp set and dies will actually be in the next catalog in May, but the papers will not. So I encourage you to take advantage if you love these butterfly papers as much as I do, and place your orders soon so that you don't run the risk of it selling out. If you shop my online store because you decide that you do want this bundle, you can use the house code, there, up in my corner here, and you'll qualify for Inkblots rewards. They are an in-house rewards program that I offer my customers to say thank you for your patronage, and because I appreciate you, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without all of you. So that's there's different levels of rewards. You can check it all out on my website, www.inkspireme.com/rewards, and it will outline all the different levels, from the deal of the week to the Inkblots rewards that you can collect and redeem when you hit 10, to the different options available to you. I will have a list of my upcoming classes scroll by at the end of this video. I have bingo on Saturday, which is now closed for registration, but stay tuned because I will have another one in the works in May for the new catalog. I have a sampler class coming up in April to do a spring decor sampler. My March card club registration closes on Sunday the 7th. So if you wish to get in on that, you can sign up by Sunday and receive the March kit. For those of you that got the February kit, the packs are already in the mail. They were delayed because of shipping delays, but they are all out to you. And I will be sending out an email communication with the details on how to access the Facebook group to get the videos and the PDF tutorials to be able to create those packages when they arrive to you. My art gallery class for March is also up on the website, so be sure to check that out. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you're still with me, I appreciate it. Have a great week, everybody.
Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together, you know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what we love. You can bet it doesn't matter where you go. You find a friend who does just what they love and lets it show. One card at a time can really change the way we live. Focused on the sharing and the chance we have to give. You can do most anything, so just do what you love. Live it, share it, you know it's what you're dreaming of. What we love, what we do, makes a difference in me and you. All these years of inspiration and love. Oh, how we live and what we say, it's Stampin' Up and it's our way.